there really is no real way to vet these people to ensure that they don't contain some people like from ISIS or other transnational terrorist groups. So it's very scary in many ways that we are ramping up to allow more in here than we ever have before. I don't know how we're going to absorb them here in any way that we can guarantee our safety, because there is no proper way to vet them unless there's intelligence community involvement, and there's been no indication of that yet.
That is the former commander of the USS Cole, Kirk Lippold, expressing concerns that the State Department is accelerating the number of Syrian refugees entering our nation. Now, for its part, the State Department approved 225 Syrian refugees Monday, setting a new single-day record. The department says it's moving faster because, well, it's getting better at screening. But is that really true? Let's talk about it with our two guests in this segment. Joining us via Skype from New York, former INS officer Michael Cutler. Michael testified before the 9/11 Commission. And via Skype from Boston, Jessica Vaughan, the Director of Policy Studies at the Policy Studies at the Center for Immigration Studies. I don't know, Jessica, maybe I have an aversion to the term studies, but you've been studying this, Jessica. You just heard Kirk say we've got problems. We're not really able to vet these people. Why would the State Department accelerate this, given what we've seen in Europe?
Well, the reason they're accelerating this is because the Obama administration knows the clock is running down on their time in office, and they set a goal of admitting 10,000 Syrian refugees. And so they're going to push these cases through at full speed ahead, even though our vetting system was never adequate and certainly hasn't gotten any better since a few months ago, when the FBI director and lots of other Homeland Security officials said we simply cannot know whether the people we're bringing in are safe or not. So this is political expediency, and they're willing to sacrifice our security to get as many people in as possible before the president leaves office.
And sacrifice our security. Michael Cutler, let's pick up on that.
Sure.
What on earth is the motivation? Could you ever envision an American president, based on what we've seen, based on the testimony of the FBI director that Jessica talked about, just say, let's bring more in? What's going on?
Well, not just, by the way, it's great to join you, JD. Hi, Jesse. It's always great to join Jesse. We're old colleagues. We also heard from Michael Steinbeck, the head of counterterrorism at the FBI, with a similar message, that Syria is a failed state. There are no people in Syria who can knock on doors and make the inquiries. And the administration initially said, well, we're going to take 18 to 24 months to vet these folks. The FBI said, you can't, no matter how much time you take. And they went from 24 months to 90 days. The clock is ticking, and this administration has a horrific track record of politicizing everything. And the one question that we need to ask, well, two questions: whatever happened to the idea that the terrorists only got to get it right once? We've got to be right 100% of the time. And whatever happened to the 9/11 Commission report?
And 10,000 Syrian refugees, the goal of this president, at least 10,000. Let me go to the phones at 1-877-Newsmax. From Tyler, Texas, Steve is on the line to talk immigration and border issues. Hi, Steve.
Hello. Hello, how you doing, JD?
Doing great,
I think
Steve.
You got a great show, by the way.
Thank you.
Dennis and Steve both. Y'all have three great shows. But I am a Trump supporter.
Yes, sir.
I'm Republican, and I do believe that this administration has pushed their agenda so hard, it's more like that book, One Party. I think they want to make it more like a dictatorship versus, because if they bring the change of demographics, where all these outsiders come in, they're not vetted, that's a possibility of a big problem. And also that the left's agenda is mainly for the immigrants. They know that the Republicans want law and order. Well, this is lawlessness. So it's all about, they're trying to change it where the Republicans already have enough problems, making it an even party, even voting problems here. They should be able to stop and just follow our laws. We don't even have to change the laws.
That's exactly right, Steve. Just enforce existing laws. Steve, thanks for the call. You mentioned your support of Donald Trump. We've got the presumptive GOP nominee talking again about immigration and border security. Here's what he had to say.
We have the equipment, we have everything. We're told to stand back and let people just flow across like Swiss cheese, okay? I said to him, so I think we need the wall. How important is the wall? To the Border Patrol people. They said, Mr. Trump, it's absolutely vital.
Jessica Vaughan, let me turn to you. This has struck a responsive chord with Americans. It's led Trump to a meteoric rise to get the Republican nomination. Do you believe, based on what we are seeing and this reckless approach by the Obama administration, this will have an effect to the ballot box in November?
I do, because the public can see very well that our borders are not secure, that illegal immigration is out of control, and that the Obama administration is trying to suppress enforcement and admit as many people as possible, regardless of what the law says and what Congress has done. We have Central Americans coming in and being released. We have Cubans surging in Texas and other places and being admitted for permanent residency. We have 500,000 people overstaying their visa every year. And we have a decline in deportations that is something, they're less than half the level that they were just a few years ago. We have Americans who are losing family members, getting killed by criminal aliens who that ICE knows about and still will not take into custody. This is happening all over the country, and Donald Trump has his views on immigration are in line with what most Americans feel about the issue. They want to restore the rule of law and a fair immigration system that serves our national interest. And so every time the Obama administration, it applies a new catch and release program, that's a liability for Hillary Clinton.
The bottom line, it's like I wrote in my book, catch and release, save it for the fish. We shouldn't be doing this at all with human beings and those who could do us harm. Back to the phones very quickly at 1-877-Newsmax. Out to my old stomping grounds of Arizona. Dan is on the line. Hi, Dan.
Hello, Dan. Thank you for taking my... hello.
That's okay.
JD,
You're Dan, I'm JD. Go ahead. It's all right.
Yes, I'm here in Malvern, Arkansas. I originally grew up, born and raised in Texas, a border state, and I moved here to Arkansas to get away from the immigrant problem. My niece was kidnapped and molested by an illegal immigrant. I have a nephew who is paraplegic in a wheelchair because he was shot by an immigrant. I've been hit and run 6 times in 1 year by immigrants with no driver's license or no insurance.
Wow,
And,
you have lived it in Arkansas, and wow.
Yeah, I moved here to Arkansas to get away from all that.
Well, it's happening nationwide. You're right. Now, listen, we're caught by the clock, Dan. I thank you for your call tonight from Arkansas. Last word goes to Michael Cutler. Sure. This crime is affecting families like Dan's we just heard about. About 30 seconds, Michael.
Sure, but it's not just the border states. We're a country of 50 border states. Any state with an international airport or any state that lies along our 95,000 miles of coastline, or the northern or southern borders, are all border states. This is hammering all of America, and it's not just people running the border. The visa process is flawed. It really is going to take a coordinated effort, and the key to it all is effective interior enforcement of the immigration laws. JD, I want to wish you and everybody, by the way, a very happy Memorial Day.
Bless you, and we have to remember those who have sacrificed, and we have to remember to enforce our laws. Jessica, Michael, our thanks to you tonight on this important issue. Lots of issues we talked about tonight. We very much appreciate your insights. You know how to get a hold of us on the computer. You see the addresses there, and also our telephone numbers as we take your calls live each night. That'll do it for tonight. For those you see and those you don't, stay brave, stay free, and stay tuned.